This video is an attempt to show you how we create and test our mods before publishing to the Mod Hub. There is a lot involved to create a mod and to get it quality approved for both PC and Mac and especially consoles. It is both rewarding and addictive to make your own custom mods for a game. Farming Simulator is fun to play, but it's also very fun to customize, to a point where you sometimes forget to actually play the game. This video will in short introduce you to the technical and artistic process of creating a mod for FS22. This video will not address how to actually create and edit mods. We just want to highlight the process of getting started with a mod and publish it, and why some mods will never see the light of the Mod Hub or not being released on consoles due to restrictions and limitations. There is a couple of ways mods are created for the communities. You take your idea and create a 3D object and design, and build it in a 3D software such as Blender, Maya, and 3ds Max. Or you take something already created, usually using existing assets from the base game library, and you can rebuild or modify the object to your liking. This is a very common method usually used to add missing features or add-ons to a generic mod. A 3D model needs to be properly optimized for the Farming Simulator engine. It contains a lot of polygons, which is what creates the stunning details of an object. You will also need to create and add textures to the object. This is what ultimately creates the depth to an object. It is done by creating basic material properties from 3 separate texture files such as diffuse, color, specular, shininess, and normal, detailed height and width. A normal map is a 2D image, wherein the colors of the image tell the game engine's renderer that light should bounce off of the mesh's surface in a specific direction, so you can fake detailed, dynamic shadows and highlights on a relatively simple mesh, making your mod look more realistic. You normally create diffuse maps in your preferred 3D software and then paint the details in a 2D program like Photoshop, Paint.net, or GIMP. Some people prefer to do the entire process in 3D, but it is in a lot of cases possible to do it in Photoshop, which we work in a lot. We switch between programs on and off to finalize a mod. We use Blender, Giants Editor, Photoshop, Paint.net for most of our work. Technically, you can create mods using only Giants Editor and a text editor like Notepad++. However, it makes it much harder, and it might make it harder to get it QA approved with Giants. It can take time to build a mod from scratch, especially since 3D softwares are very complex on their own, and it takes a bit of patience and effort to learn it. I would suggest, in order to start learning it, start with playing around repurposing the assets in Giants library and play with Giants Editor. There you will get a feel for a 3D software, and you can start with the basics to modify an existing mod to your liking. Once you have your object ready, you need to export this to a file your software can understand and work with, which is readily available from Giants. This program is called Giants Editor. In this software, you put everything together, make changes, add or remove assets to your vehicle, or edit terrain to your map. You can edit attributes and prepare it for certain functions. If you've created your mod from scratch, you put the bits and pieces together and prepare them for the game. In the editor, you are also adding components such as triggers, collisions, trees, plants, buildings, decorations, etc. to your mod or map. Once you are satisfied with your results, it is time to add the necessary files and folder structure for your mod. These files contains all the information and details about your mod for it to work as intended. You will link information in your files and connect them to the work you did in the editor. So the minimum files needed for this is a set of files that the Giants engine used to identify your mod in the game. It is called Extensible Markup Language, XML, files, and is used for configuration. In fact, the i3D format that Giants Editor uses is also based on XML. But we will not go into the nitty-gritty about the technical stuff in this video. To create or edit these type file, you will need a text editor. Our choice for this is Notepad++, which is full of useful features to make this part of the process a breeze. The moddesk.xml contains the name of the mod and a description and various information such as brand, vehicle type, etc. for the game to identify the mod in the in-game store. This file may also include language translations or folder directives to scripts and image sources. Some bigger language files, however, is sometimes used by creating its own set of files called L10N directory. You will need one for each language you are translating into. The main vehicle or map file contains the functions and controls of the mod, wheels, components, cameras, lighting, player-related interactions, attachments, sounds, settings, color values, etc. It also contains the i3D mapping, which links the components in the XML file to the 3D file components, and this is how the Giants engine renderer knows what part is what and how it is supposed to be used. Some mods require additional custom files such as Lua, for some specific specializations to work as intended. Lua is a robust, lightweight, and embedded scripting language that supports multiple programming methods, including procedural, object-oriented, functional, and data-driven programming. This allows a modder to include functions and features that the Giants engine doesn't normally support. If you create a mod using scripts, your mod will not be released on console. Once you have your object files, XML files, and textures all neatly put together in your map folder, you need to create icons and screenshots that will show your mod in the Mod Hub and in-game storefront. After finishing all the groundwork of creating your mod and connecting every bits and pieces, it is now time for testing of the mod. In the first test, we run the mod through a test program provided by Giants Software. The software will run through all the modules to look for any issues. The test we do is done in both single and multiplayer mods. We tested in a series of 3 map versions. Version 1 I tested with only the base game mods activated to easily see if the mod is creating any log errors in the game. Version 2 is with essential testing and developer tools only so that we can create different scenarios and environments for the mod to find behavior issues in various situations and again any log errors. The third version is together with other third-party mods. Here we will look for incompatibility issues, and again any log errors that may occur. Once we are satisfied with the in-game test results, we will look for errors in the modules, obsolete files, and incorrect shaders, folder structures, etc. If any log errors or issues from the test runner occurs, you will simply go back to your mod and fix whatever issues you have found, and do the same testing again and again until resolved. This is what is called a self-test, which is highly recommended before submitting your mod to Giants. They will perform similar testing, and their testing could take anything from 3 days to a couple of weeks. You should test your mods in single and multiplayer mode for at least 30 minutes, and try to let the mod experience all various situations, weather conditions, features and functions with or without any third-party content on your map. Once the mod has passed the tests, it will be ready for release to the Mod Hub, which Giants will take care of. All mods are subject for release on consoles after approval of Giants Software if they are in compliance with the base requirements, no shader fails, etc. Console mod versions must not include any external scripts or feature any brand Giants Software does not possess the license for. Fantasy brands, as manufacturer, in Mod Desk, etc., are not allowed anymore due to licensing issues. This is why you will see the name Lizard in place of an actual brand name. If the mod do not comply with this, they will be released on PC and Mac only. Some modders doesn't have the patience for the testing process or simply don't care if the textures or folder structures are in compliance with Giants. Mods that doesn't comply with these QA restrictions may not necessarily be bad mods. They can be very nice, however, these requirements is there for a reason. If textures and 3D objects are too high in polys or pixels, etc., or too low, you risk ending up with mods that is either too high of a quality, which could create a lagging experience, or too low of a quality, which will look bad. Also, certain log errors or warnings will also create lag, or the mod will not work as intended, and could also potentially crash the game. So, to ignore errors and submit a half-finished mod is not recommended. It is better to take your time with it and finish it properly. Even if you don't plan on submitting your mod to the official Mod Hub, and you will use a third-party hub instead, I highly recommend to still follow the testing process and the Giants guidelines for any mod on the Mod Hub to ensure a good quality mod for the best experience possible. We know it is time-consuming and frustrating sometimes, but it is so worth it in the long run. We hope this very brief explanation helped getting you some insight to the mod creation and testing for the Mod Hub. Thank you for watching, and thank the modding community for all the help and feedback we received to be able to contribute to the FS community. Have fun and keep up the good work.